Hello everyone, Skits here, and today I'm going to show you what I think are the top 10 weapons in Fallout 4. Now there were a few things I based my picks on. First of all, I was mainly looking at weapons design, their unique abilities and visuals, and did not care much about their combat power, since almost every weapon can be modified, upgraded, thanks to perks, and so their strength kinda depends on what sort of player build you have. Which means that I also only included basic versions of any weapons with no modifications, and I also measured their power with vanilla versions. This list also mainly includes unique weapons, but some of the places are also for types of weapons, like laser rifles or Gatling guns. Also beware of few spoilers in this video that will be listed in the description. Now that we've got rules out of the way, let's get to it. Starting off at place number 10, we have laser rifle / laser rifles in general. First let's talk about laser rifles. When I got my hands on my first one, I was amazed by its design. It was kinda similar to Fallout 3 one, but it had its own special little upgrades that were of course part of improved graphics, but still it became one of my favorite weapons to use very fast. Laser rifles in general are fun to use, they have cool visual effects and sounds, and they can also disintegrate your enemy, so what more could you want? Anyway, when it comes to my favorite one of them, it has to be laser rifle. Another throwback to Fallout 3, this weapon can be obtained from your synth son Shaun, after you complete few quests for him. Even though it looks same as the original laser rifle, it comes with a special never-ending effect that allows you to shoot it as long as you have ammunition, without any reloads, which can be very useful in longer battles. Another thing why I like it so much is of course its reference to Fallout 3 and also fact that it is part of endgame content that allows you to get to know your son a bit more. As I said in the beginning, it is kinda hard for me to say how strong in combat it is. I personally used it with rifleman build and it worked very well. Next up we've got Kreml's Tooth, only melee weapon on this list. You can obtain it by going to Dunwich Borers and passing through whole crazy dungeon, that is by the way one of my favorite locations in game, and then diving into Waterhole and getting it from Sacred Table. There are a few reasons why I think this is the best melee weapon in game. It has some serious backstory behind it. It is a religious item that is tied to semi-Lovecraftian god Ukkwaltot as a sacrificial knife and a tool for religious wars that it was likely created for use in, and is one of few remaining genuinely arcane artifacts left in Fallout lore. If you guys remember, in Fallout 3 there is a location called the Dunwich Building that has this Ukkwaltot obelisk, and in Point Lookout you can find another book connected to it as well. So Kreml's Tooth is another part of this lore that you can obtain in Fallout 4. Other than that, it has some awesome visual design, it looks really unique and ancient. Its special abilities also include additional poisoning and bleeding damage that are very useful in combat, and are one of the reasons why I use this weapon so much. Even though I'm not a huge fan of melee combat, this weapon is an exception and I enjoyed it. Moving on, we've got Final Judgment. It is a Gatling gun carried by Elder Maxson into battles. You will most likely only see it in the end of the game, and if you side with Brotherhood, it is unobtainable. Only way to get it is to kill Elder Maxson and take it from his dead body. Anyway, when it comes to Gatling guns, I was surprised by their new versions that were different from Fallout 3 ones. I actually like the fact that Gatling guns now use fusion cores, it makes them more unique, but also a bit overpowered at times, since fusion cores are easy to find. New visual design fits them as well, they look bulkier and heavier, but still have that futuristic look, and of course they still fire lasers that look awesome on any weapon. Final Judgment comes with a special modification that gives it 25% faster fire rate and 15% faster reload rate. Combined with powers of vanilla Gatling gun, it makes it almost unstoppable. It has great crowd control thanks to its speed and huge magazine, so it is great to use it against group of enemies. And fast fire rate and good damage also make it a good weapon to use against strong single enemies. Overall, a well-rounded weapon with good combat power and unique visual design that I would definitely recommend. Coming up next, we've got Overseer's Guardian. Now this is one of the most hyped up weapons in Fallout 4, and whenever I saw a discussion on which weapon is best, this one always took top spots. You can obtain it by buying it from Alexis in Vault 81. It is basically a legendary combat rifle that comes with a night vision scope and several other mods. The most prominent out of these is 2-shot mod, that basically makes you shoot 2 projectiles at the cost of 1. So when you shoot 10 rounds from this weapon, you actually shoot 20. And of course the damage it causes is also that of 20 rounds. Now this can be extremely useful in any firefight, since this weapon is also fully automatic and it can usually cripple enemy limbs in one shot. Personally, I wouldn't say that this is the strongest weapon in game, but it is very close to it. What makes it special is that it can be obtained early in game and that it shoots 7.45 rounds that make it a great choice for starting players. One downside I noticed, however, is that it has some crazy recoil and it was hard to use it at long range effectively. Its visual and design are same as the vanilla combat rifle that looks pretty good, even though a bit generic for my taste, but still a very powerful rifle that when upgraded can be one of the deadliest weapons in this game. Now let's take a look at Kellog's pistol. First I have to mention that I am an extreme fan of revolvers, and in any FPS games they are one of my favorite weapons to use, so I am a bit biased when it comes to them. Now you can get this weapon after you defeat Kellog, one of the main antagonists in this game. It only comes with one special modification, and that is Relentless, that refills your action points on critical hit. What I mainly like about this weapon is its design and one shot, one kill tactic it uses. Its design is simplistic but cool looking. Like I said, I generally enjoy revolvers, and this one even has longer barrel that makes it look even better. Like I mentioned before, it can kill most humans in 1 or 2 shots, which makes it a great weapon to use against raiders and such. And another thing I really liked is that after every shot, I felt like I just shot a really powerful deadly weapon, and its design and sound effects only reinforced that feeling. I personally used this weapon whenever I could, and it is still one of my favorite pistols. Next up, we have Cryolator. You can find this weapon right at the beginning of game, inside Vault 111. Now it is locked under Master Lock case, so you have to level up your picklock skill to get it, or use Skate or Dogmeat that can get it for you. What makes this weapon unique is its design and freezing abilities. It is truly a special weapon, since it is only one in game that can actually freeze enemies in place. It basically acts as a flamethrower, but instead of burning people, it freezes them. Its design was also cool, and I liked its backstory as well. Finding it in Vault 111 is also fitting, since that vault was all about cryogenic experiments. Now in combat it can be very good if you have enough ammo for it. That is unfortunately rare. It can only be bought from vendors at high price, which makes it hard to use this weapon often. But when used in fight it was useful, since when you froze your enemies you could easily finish them with melee weapon and save ammunition. Overall I enjoyed this weapon a lot, mainly due to its unique freezing effect, and I think you should go ahead and try it out as well. Fourth place goes to Deliverer. Deliverer is a special 10mm pistol with a silencer. You can obtain it by completing Railroad's quest Tradecraft and finding it on the body of Tommy Whispers in Switchboard. What makes Deliverer especially unique is its attached silencer. It can be used by stealth-based characters that prefer the quiet way, but on the other hand it is also generally very strong for a pistol, and even in all-out combat it can hold its ground. I especially like that it is semi-automatic, that is not very common in pistols, and when combined with pistol enhancing perks, this weapon can become a real monster. Its design is also great, a bit simple, but it reminded me of weapons from other spy movies, probably because of its silencer. I have to admit that I did not expect this weapon to be as good as it was in combat, and I used it a lot more than I initially thought I would. Anyway, an amazing and one of few weapons for sneaky characters that however have no problem with getting their hands dirty when needed. And now we move on to top 3. Coming up at place number 3, we have Alien Blaster. This weapon can be obtained by triggering an encounter with alien ship that will crash on a specific place, and then finding and killing alien that has it. I was always a fan of Alien Blaster since Fallout 3. It is goofy, mysterious and a very powerful weapon that is one of a kind. It has a beautiful design, combination of colors, futuristic alien looking parts and shape of this weapon are simply perfect. Now when compared to extremely powerful Fallout 3 and New Vegas version, it is a bit weaker but still pretty damn strong pistol that has low cost in watts, great accuracy and fast fire rate. I also liked its brew projectile effects that looked very nice. Alien Blaster is basically must have weapon in any Fallout, and Fallout 4 is not an exception, so don't wait any further and go get your own blaster now. Second place goes to Railway Rifle. You can find it in Big John's salvage in his shelter in Bedford Station, or as a reward by completing Underground Undercover quest for Railroad. Now there are many things that I love about this gun. First of all, it is absolutely amazing in combat. Just like Kellogg's pistol, it uses one shot one kill style, but it is even more effective when it comes to Railway Rifle. If you have good aim, you can even pinpoint limbs of your enemies to wall and easily kill them. Another thing I like is that since it shoots spikes, it has a small delay between firing and hitting target that makes it more challenging to use it, but on the other hand it really has no problem with any enemies. It also has very cool sound effects when firing, and when reloading you can hear a train horn during that. Of course it comes with a unique design as well that fits its home created style, but still makes it look big, heavy and powerful. Another small nice thing about it is that spikes can be picked from dead enemies, and so you don't have to buy them from vendors, since they are actually pretty rare to come by. Overall, a great weapon that has special abilities, design and is also very strong in combat, and I would definitely recommend it. And finally, on place number 1, we have the last minute legendary Gauss rifle that you can obtain by buying it from Ronnie Shaw at Castle. Now here I will be talking about last minute, but also about Gauss rifle in general. Just like with revolvers, I always enjoyed any form of Gauss rifles, especially in games like Stalker or Fallout. It has that combination of extreme power, great visuals, and stunning effects that made it go all the way to place number 1. It has its own unique charging mechanic that requires you to charge it for maximum output, and it even shows how much you charged it, thanks to small display on bottom of it. When you finally shoot it, it has great laser-like effects, it is also deadly, and usually one-shots any enemies, especially when fully charged. Its design is also great, different than what I am used to, but it still has tons of small details on it, like all the wires on side of it, or the front barrel that at least to me looked amazing. Like I said, in combat it is one of the best, if not best weapon in game. Its legendary version, the last minute, comes with a few modifications, like night vision scope that makes it even more effective in combat. In the end, this is definitely my favorite weapon in Fallout 4, it has great design, effects, power, and I would recommend it to anyone. And yeah guys, I guess that is about it for this video. Tell me how you enjoyed this top 10. Was I too trivial or did I go into too much detail on each weapon? And also let me know what sort of top 10 would you like to see next. And yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Subscribe for more Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas content. And I will see you next time.